What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a video. This one deserves the sigh. This
okay, I will give you that.
This one gets it. Guys, this is not gonna be a fun topic, and this is gonna be something that is gonna could potentially greatly affect us and potentially all of you guys at home too. So let's go ahead and get into this.
Let's do it.
So by now, a lot of you have probably already heard about the proposed Lacey Act Amendment that has been kind of snuck in to the American Competes Act that has already passed the House and is now in Senate for vote. If you haven't heard about it, I'm gonna go over it briefly real quick because there have been a lot of creators making content about this topic. One that I really like, if you guys haven't watched already, is go check out Dave Kaufman's video he did with Phil Goss, the USARK president, and Ryan and Erica McVeigh. They go into extreme depth and detail about this topic. So if you haven't seen it already, go check it out. I'll put the link in the description below. But as far as right now, I'm just gonna give you guys the bullet points of what's going on and give you a few action items of stuff you can do right now. So to give you guys some context, if you don't know what the Lacey Act is, it's basically a federal law that was enacted in 1900, and today it serves two purposes. The first purpose is to protect endangered species of wildlife by preventing them to be imported into the United States, as well as interstate commerce. And basically how they do that is they come up with what's known as a blacklist. Basically a list of species of plants and animals that are not allowed to be imported, as well as not allowed to be sold across state lines. The second purpose is to protect the US against injurious species of wildlife. Basically any species of wildlife that could become invasive anywhere in the United States. So now that you know what the Lacey Act is, basically what's going on right now is they've snuck an amendment into the American Competes Act to change a few key aspects of the current Lacey Act. Just to be clear, we're not fighting the American Competes Act. That's about a 3,000-page bill that actually does a lot of good. What we're fighting is a 4-page amendment that's been slipped in there, specifically section 71102, that addresses the Lacey Act amendments like I'm about to go over right now. So the first change they're trying to make with this amendment is basically how wildlife is designated under the Lacey Act and how it's banned. Currently, everything is, like I said, with the Lacey Act is operated under a blacklist system, which basically means if it's on the list, it's a banned species. If it's not on the list, it's not a banned. Currently, what they're trying to change that to is a whitelist system, which means if it's on the list, it's not banned. But by default, if it's not on the list, those species are all banned. Basically, right now, what they do to put something on the list is US Fish and Wildlife. They've got to prove that the species is injurious or endangered, and then they move it to the blacklist system and can ban the species. With this current change, if it goes through, basically what that means is we have to prove that is not injurious and is not endangered. Secondly, what they're trying to do is reverse USARK's victory they had a few years back. Basically what that would do is it would ban not just interstate commerce of animals, but it would also just ban moving across state lines any animals deemed injurious or endangered. So a big reason why this change is so scary is we all know the last couple years have been extremely hectic. A lot of people have been moving across state lines. People getting transferred with jobs, switching careers, and just kind of bouncing around the US. If this law went into effect, basically what that would do is if you have an animal that has not been whitelisted and has been deemed injurious, that animal cannot be transferred across state lines. So if you move, it's not just about selling it anymore, it's about just having it. So if like, let's say your kid has a parakeet, a ball python, a goldfish, or some other exotic saltwater fish, if you were to take that animal with you when you moved, let's say from California to Oregon, if you were to take it with you and cross state lines, that is a felony, and that would be punishable by up to $20,000 fine and 5 years in prison if you were to do that, just by moving your pet across state lines. Another change they're trying to make is if a species has not been imported into the United States the previous year in a minimum quantity, which they have yet to determine what that number is, that species is therefore banned. Lastly, what this amendment would do would give US Fish and Wildlife emergency designation, meaning at any time, if they want to make a change, they can do it immediately. So basically, if one morning they decide, like, hey, you know, crested geckos, I think they could survive in Florida for sure. Let's ban them. And by that afternoon, crested geckos are gone. They can do that for any species at any time if this amendment went through.
So that comes back to how does it affect us here at JAWS in Prevented Predators? And it goes back to the blacklist versus whitelist. How does it not affect us? It's all about not only rescues, but conservation. And this amendment will affect both of those. So first off, let's touch on conservation. So conservation, the Orinoco crocodile, the rarest crocodile in the New World, and these are adult 4 females. They actually laid eggs last year, so they are very viable for offspring, and there's legitimate ways that we could send these babies back in the wild to do proper conservation work, not just assurance colonies. We can get these babies back, they can start breeding with the wild population and really make a difference. But
do you want to share that at all? Because this is kind of already in the works, right? Before
yes,
this,
yeah.
This is an active project that we're trying to undergo.
Yes, we've been working on it for years, working on bringing males in from Venezuela, a new bloodline, to breed with the various females in the country here, 4 of which are right here at Primitive Predators in Jaws. But with that, guys, we can't even get a male from another state, let alone import any, if this amendment goes through. So not only can we not bring a new male in for a bloodline from another state, another zoo, we can't bring any from Venezuela, but also even if we produce here, we can't send them back. So there's huge detriment to proper conservation work, like what we have with the rarest crocodile in the New World, the Orinoco crocodile. So we talked about conservation. Now, secondly, is our rescue and rehomings here at the sanctuary. Now, Gatorade over here, he's got an amazing story, and we should be able to still continue that because he is a native species, and most likely this is going after invasive species, but there's still dwarf caiman, smooth front caiman, Morlet's crocodiles that are currently legalized to cross state lines, but once they're in other states, if this passes, then unfortunately I am breaking the law by bringing those animals across state lines, no matter if it's given to me, loaned to me, sold to me. All of those are illegal if this amendment passes, and unfortunately we can no longer help those animals here at the sanctuary.
All right, guys, so kind of a somber video today. We just wanted to really make sure we got that through to you of kind of what's going on. Like I said, go check out Dave Kaufman's video with Phil, Ryan, and Erica. They really explain it, and the 2 biggest takeaways, stuff you can actually do today: go join USARK, become an active member, and go reach out to your senators and let them know how you feel about this. Remember to be civil and polite. They're not our enemies. We just need to educate them.
And donate as much or as little as you can to USARK because they need all the money we can get. I'm going to be donating as well to fight this cause. So they need all the help they can get. They are our only help in this battle. And guys, can't say enough good things about USARK.
Yeah, so I'll put links to everything that we've talked about in the description below, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
See you guys.